For more on this now, Brandon Arnold, National Taxpayers Union Executive Vice President, joins me now. Thank you very much for talking to us. Well, first of all, I want your take on what you make of Jeff Bezos' response to the president's tweet blaming gas prices on oil companies, calling it a misdirection or a deep misunderstanding of basic market dynamics. Pretty strong words coming from Jeff Bezos, you got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Very strong words and absolutely correct words, I should add. I think Biden doesn't understand the market fundamentals that go into energy markets at all. And we saw this early in the administration with the cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline, shutting down oil and gas exploration. And we see this today. He's blaming everybody for high gas prices. He's blaming Putin. He's blaming big oil companies. And now he's blaming small independently owned gas station owners. The majority of gas stations are owned by small, independently owned individuals. So what we're talking about here is pinning small businesses who do not have the wherewithal to affect gas prices across the board, who do not have the desire to do so because indeed they make very little money off the gasoline that they sell at the pump. Most of the money they make is instead when people come into their stores and they buy a can of soda or they buy a hot dog or what have you. They want gas prices to be low so that consumers will come into their convenience stores and make purchases. They don't want gas prices to be high, as Biden has suggested.
Yeah, the game, the name of the game, honestly, with this administration is the blame game. I mean, and you just said it right there. I mean, the president is basically blaming the war with Ukraine and Russia. He's even got these wacky ideas of going to Saudi Arabia to try to get them to help out. In other words, let's go to terrorists, essentially, to help us worry about our gas prices. Do you think they really care? And then Mark Meredith just reported on how the White House spokesperson, John Kirby, defended the tweet saying that Biden was just being plain spoken. Is that what that is? Plain spoken or just wrong? And then the Oil and Gas Industry Association also hitting back at President Biden after he tweeted on Saturday that companies running gas stations should simply bring down the price you are charging at the pump, telling him that he should please make sure the White House intern who posted this tweet registers for Econ 101 for the fall semester.
Yeah, I love that response. There's a big difference between being plain spoken and being plain wrong. And the Biden administration is plain wrong. All of their energy policies have contributed to this problem. It's one of the reasons why we see higher inflation in the United States than we do in our neighboring countries like Mexico and Canada, than we see in the Pacific area, Australia, Japan, all have much lower inflation. A lot of that reason is not just because of these global concerns that we have with Ukraine and supply chain disruptions, but because of the lousy policies that we've put in place here in the United States since day one of this administration.
Those, looking at the stock market, the financial markets ended the first half of 22 with the worst performance in 50 years. And that is startling. The S&P 500, a broader indicator of the economy, lost more than 20% of its value since the start of the year, officially entering a bear market. And this is pretty terrible. Losses wiping out $3 trillion in retirement savings. And we may not have actually bottomed out yet. Take a look at this headline in the Seattle Times. After stock market's worst start in 50 years, some see more pain ahead. Any advice for those watching their savings, their retirement dwindle?
Yeah, I'd love to come on this show and talk about happy news right now. It's Independence Day. Obviously, we'd love to celebrate. But unfortunately, we see rocky roads ahead for this economy. It just doesn't look like the fundamentals of this economy are very, very strong right now. I think we are in all likelihood in a recession right now. We won't know that officially for a few weeks, but early indications from the Atlanta Fed suggest that we have had 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. And unfortunately, I see that as sustaining for the foreseeable future. Chairman Powell has already talked about how he's prioritizing getting inflation under control over a possible recession. While I share his concern about inflation, I think we can address both of these simultaneously with a more moderate approach to increasing interest rates rather than an extremely aggressive approach. I mean, if we can rewind the clock, I would have started this process probably in the latter part of last year, and I wouldn't have hit the accelerator on fiscal policy the way that Congress did with the American Rescue Plan Act that pushed trillions of dollars into this economy, that put consumer spending on overdrive and has been a huge contributing factor to inflation. So, yeah, there are unfortunately troubling times ahead, economically speaking. People need to be very cognizant of the way they're budgeting, making sure that they're preparing for the worst, that they're not dipping into their savings if they can all avoid it going forward.
Yeah, and try not to dip into your 401ks right now either. also, we just talk about, like, any sector being safe, and there really isn't. I mean, bonds are even having their first worst half in decades. Cryptocurrency, which saw massive gains during the pandemic, that is now down significantly. Many analysts say, that they do predict a recession by next year. You just said it, and many others have said it. We already are in a recession. I know that you say it's going to get worse before it gets better, but when is it going to get better, and where are we headed in the near future?
Well, there's so much uncertainty going forward. Right now on Capitol Hill, they're trying to twist Joe Manchin's arm and get him to support a $1 trillion tax hike package. Hopefully he'll hold strong there. Hopefully Senator Sinema as well and other moderate Democrats will see that this is absolutely insane, as we're either in a recession or very close to a recession, to even contemplate a $1 trillion tax hike bill. This is the kind of thinking that would really drive our economy into a ditch right now, from this tenuous period into a flat-out, deep recession. So with that uncertainty, I'm not prepared to go out and say exactly what direction our economy is going to take. I think it is quite possible that we're dealing with a mild recession, a short-term recession, but we need to see what happens from this Congress and this president first.
All right, Brandon Arnold, thank you very much. Happy 4th. Thanks for coming on today.